Hey guys, and welcome back to Professor Layton and the Curious Village. We're into the game properly now, so let's head on over to Reinhold Manor. But first...
a puzzle! I think. Hint coins. Obviously it's hint coins. Of course it's hint coins. Basically, whenever you get to a new screen, always look for hint coins, because pretty much there will always be 3 to 4 hint coins hidden around the area.
It can vary, like, from area to area. Like, there's not always 4 in a given area. Sometimes there's, like, 2, or maybe even just 1.
And in real life, of course, when that happens, you're pretty much just standing there jamming your DS over and over trying to find hit points. I mean, some of them are in shit places like, you touch the clock, or one stuck up a chimney. Like, is he actually climbing up top of there to get these things? I know I'm thinking too hard about this, but come on, that'd be funny.
He's sending Luke up there.
Luke, my boy, I do believe there's a shiny, glistening object in that chimney over there, and as you know, I have tendencies like a magpie, so could you bring that for me?
Now, by the time we reached, like, Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, really lovely game, by the way. Some people were kind of disappointed with, the ending and such, but I don't really care. It's crazy. It's par for the course, Layton-wise. But by the time we got to that game, you could hover over stuff with a magnifying glass, because it had a magnifying glass at the bottom of the screen at that point, and it would sparkle if you came across a hint coin. But until that point, they were all pretty much just flat out hidden.
I mean, pretty much, I think it was come Miracle Mask, they introduced the kind of magnifying glass that did change colour whenever there was anything that you could investigate, but it didn't necessarily tell you whether it was a hint coin or exactly what it was. But then they did Layton versus Ace Attorney. I can't remember whether that or Azran Legacy came first. But basically, in both of those, it notifies which type of thing you're investigating.
Okay.
So, it changed color based on what you could look at. So, was it like a mood magnifying glass? Like, if you were angry, would it mess up, what you're looking at?
Wow, everything's orange, except for this blue thing that lets me just, rip out my eye and push it forward a little bit.
Yeah, activate nightmare vision. Everything looks exactly the same.
Oh god. Oh, everything reminds me of a puzzle.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much how Layton's brain works. It's just like, oh, this is a book. It reminds me of a puzzle.
Again, going back to Miracle Mask, he's talking to this guy who has a face like a crescent moon. He's like, are you sure this guy's face isn't a puzzle? It reminds me of a puzzle. Alright, let's pop on over. Going right, I believe. Oh, no, we're clicking stuff. Man, I really don't remember a jot of what I recorded.
Oh, that's a good sign.
So basically, there are, I believe, hidden puzzles. Well, this is exactly what we're looking at now, so you're looking for hint coins, you're looking for hidden puzzles, you're looking for all sorts in these backgrounds. There's nothing generally to distinguish where these things are hidden, so you've just got to kind of do a crapshoot, essentially. But eventually you'll be okay. Now, I think that this is actually one of a few different puzzles in the UK and the US version. So, I believe in the US version it's digital digits or something, and we get this thing to do with the analog clock.
Because you guys don't have digital clocks over there, do you? Everything is just like 1940s, you haven't changed a bit, and there's no sun in the sky, so you're practically trapped in a time loop, I assume.
Well, Layton as a whole is, I guess, what Japan sees the UK as. Spit spots, chimney sweeps and all that.
I'm surprised they didn't design Layton, where he's always going around, even the most dangerous situations, having a steaming cup of tea in his hand at this juncture.
Well, in the second game, there is a minigame that involves you brewing different varieties of tea.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Although I thought that was kind of fun.
It was a pretty cool minigame. We're going to get introduced to the minigames in Curious Village eventually. I mean, one of the mainstays of the series is that you will get 3 minigames to deal with, which will eventually unlock a special something in the bonus section.
Professor, look at that man standing in the street. He sure looks suspicious.
That's what we call a vagrant, Luke.
A bum, a homeless man, a chode.
I'd say a chav, but he's not quite young enough to be a chav, unfortunately.
Don't kid yourself, Richie. Chavs can be of any age, my friend, but I digress. Let's talk to him after getting a few more precious hint coins.
Do we have to talk to him? Clearly he doesn't look talk-worthy, or trustworthy, or any sort of worthy whatsoever.
He's standing in front of the gate, which means we have to talk to him. Video game rules.
You can't judge a book by its cover.
Well, I'm judging him right now.
He looks like a fucking hummingbird.
It's very true, that is one impressively thin, long nose.
We're the fishy pair. Us.
Yeah.
Did you really just say that? What are you, the fucking town riddle gatekeeper boy?
What, is Riddler copyrighted in your world?
Oh yeah, that's true. Can't really call a guy the Riddler, can we?
What's the difference between a riddle and a puzzle, anyway? Asking the serious questions early on in the playthrough.
Well, a riddle is generally, it's all words, whereas a puzzle can be, how do you move in this matchstick? Because we will see, how do you figure out which is the lightest one? Riddles are generally word puzzles or logic puzzles.
Okay.
Specifically.
I think I know the difference between a Riddler and a puzzler. Both of them earn just enough to make minimum wage. Well, it was funnier in my head, anyway.
So how do we actually work this one out, Rishi? Because we had to do a couple of takes of this, and it was different every time.
Well, basically, it's a completely randomised puzzle. The way to get through it is to put weights 1, 2, 3 on the left and weights 4, 5, 6 on the right. Then, basically, depending on how that goes, you can change how you proceed. So, seeing as we had both of them level, we know that either 7 or 8 is the lightest. So, there we go, so 7 is the lightest. If, however, you've got an instance where one side is lighter than the other with your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you take 2 of the ones on that lighter side, you weigh them, then you've either got the lightest one or they're equal, which means that the remaining weight is the lightest. That's kind of a really botched way of going through describing how you do it, but that is the logic.
Oh, sorry, were you saying something? I was thinking about Beyblades.
I like Metabots.
Sorry, whenever math starts creeping in, my brain switches off.
That wasn't even maths, that was just logic.
It had numbers on the weights. That counts. Okay, can we pass now, please? This guy is super skeevy. Oh, he vanished. Okay.
But we're not going to get quite that far because we're going to come across Ramon, or Ramon, or Raymond, or however the hell you want to pronounce his name.
Everyone loves Ramon.
He looks like a really young Mr. Burns. I always got that vibe from this guy.
How old is this setting?
Old enough if Mr. Burns is involved.
Ain't that a bitch? The Professor Layton series is just a prequel to The Simpsons.
Oh, God, that is terrifying.
I just wanted to briefly bring up the layout of the 2 screens here. Obviously, you have the bottom screen all blown up here, but you got this really nice little logo in the lower right. Did Cardo design that?
Yes, he did.
Alright, well that's good stuff. Like, it looks really good. I have to say, I really like that.
Thank you. I will take credit. And Kato, well, he's not in this commentary, so he can just say hello, thank you in the credits, or the comments.
Based Kato is based.
Never say that again, Richie, thank you.
He seems to have a weird verbal tick, this Ramon. A-hoo-hoo. A-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Hey, don't judge, okay? He had parrots on his mother's side.
Well, I mean, I have to say, pretty much most of the characters have some sort of verbal tick, or something to that effect. They have a tick or a gimmick to their character. I mean...
like the animals in Animal Crossing, but a little bit more subtle.
Well, I wouldn't quite say subtle, I'd say sort of just more human.
Well, I mean, it's a good way to instantly make a minor character stand out. You really can't really spend that lot of effort creating NPCs like that and make them fully fleshed out. So having a little verbal tick or a distinct gimmick is enough.
There are some puzzles that you, literally cannot lose. Lose Pickarats or anything, and this is an example of one of them. Very classic kind of puzzle. You've got to get the chicks and the wolves across, but there's a bunch of, different rules that you need to stick to. Obviously, you can't leave one chick alone with 2 wolves, because the wolves will eat the chick. But if you have a gang of 2 chicks against 1 wolf, that wolf ain't gonna be trying nothing.
It's like, well, dude, we're all watching you. We're using the buddy system here.
Now, I believe, if I recall correctly, when you get to Last Spectre / Spectre's Call / Spectre's Flute, they really, 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 really liked this type of puzzle, and it just got reused and reused and reused to the point of absurdity. It was insane.
I like how one of the wolves is just basically being indecisive. No, you guys go ahead. I'll guard the fort over here.
I'm sure most of you have played one of these types of games on like a freeware thing at school.
Every puzzle has an answer.
Especially ones that you can't fail.
Just the quotes that come after these puzzles. Like, there is a reason that Layton does get quoted, not as often as I think he used to, but there's every puzzle has an answer, and that's just what a gentleman does, and so on and so forth.
Briefly remind me, what exactly Layton teaches, because he is a professor, right?
You said archaeology in the last part.
I was making an Indiana Jones joke.
He does teach archaeology.
There you go. All right, that's excellent, because I'm wondering now if there's like any archaeological puzzles that come up. Here's a puzzle. You have to get this golden statue, but if you take it off without a counterweight, it will trigger a trap. What do you do in order to make sure it's way down enough so nothing is triggered?
I'd like to use a hint coin, please. Don't be Alfred Molina. You'll die. Okay, that was a bit of a morbid hint.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that type of puzzle, because archaeology and that sort of stuff does come up quite importantly in Miracle Mask.
Ah, alright.
And because Miracle Mask deals with Layton when he was younger and going on kind of illicit archaeological digs that he rather really shouldn't have been going on.
Wait. They have illicit archaeological digs? Is he like digging up porn or something? How does this work?
No, he's going on digs that he shouldn't be because he's not authorized.
My word, Luke, it's an ancient stack of medieval playboys.
Should I even be here, Professor? Your father let you come with me.
Also, you say medieval playboys, you'd be surprised how utterly filthy some medieval literature is. Oh my god.
I believe it. I mean, we had Shakespeare. Like, the dude's plays were very, as raunchy as they could get back then.
Also, Richie, if anyone would know about medieval porn, it would be you, my friend.
Well,
he's got wood carvings underneath his bed.
Alright, let's quickly get off this tangent, shall we?
Got a lovely big house coming up.
What's the difference between a manor and a mansion, Richie?
The rent?
I actually do not know.
I think we brought this up in 5 Days a Stranger, Hell Dragon.
Oh, yeah, I think, I must have made some remark there, too.
Yeah, you usually do.
So I think that it may literally just be the age of the building.
Mm.
So a manor is an estate in land which is incident the right to hold a court termed court baron, or a manorial court there, or something along those lines, whereas I would assume that mansion just means really big house.
Okay. Look it up in the dictionary. Mansion.
A large dwelling house.
Okay, thank you, Richie.
Is it like tenure, then? Can a mansion get tenure and eventually become a manor down the line?
Where do you get these jokes?
I'm just thinking of shit to say.
That's what we're all doing in the end, mate.
Matthew, listen, from one Matthew to another, your eyes, you may wanna just bring them forward, just a little, you know what, you're fine.
He reminds me a little bit of a teddy bear, does Matthew?
He just looks so sad all the time, you just sort of want to hug him quite like a teddy bear.
Have you met Lady Dahlia? I'd be sad as well.
It's very true, she is a right cow.
There's the 12 matchsticks.
Oh god, this puzzle. So, logically, it's a perfectly easy puzzle to figure out, because, I mean, you've just got to make the dog into a dead dog.
Yeah, roadkill dog.
Yeah. But the thing is that you've got to be very, very, very precise with where you put your matchsticks, because I'm pretty sure that we had to re-record this particular puzzle because it didn't accept the positioning that we put the matchsticks in.
What a bunch of bullshit.
Which was ridiculous, because the thing is that it was in the right place, and I mean, pretty much, if you put it around there, that should be the right place, but for some bizarre reason, every now and again, it just will not accept it.
I think when I first played the game, I tried to, I got the neck right, but I tried to make it so the dog was lying on its side, instead of just, like, squashed like a raccoon or something.
It's weird. They do get better with that throughout the series, I think,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly. But there are a couple of puzzles like that where you've got to be oddly specific, but not that specific. It's really finicky.
The matchsticks here kind of look like a dead dreidel. You know, a dreidel got run over by a car instead.
What would a dreidel be doing out in the street, Helldragon? Finish your joke.
I don't know.
You can't just create a setup and have no punchline.
Why would you build a dog out of matchsticks? You
Good
got a good answer for
point.
that?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Touché, I believe Layton would probably say. Although maybe that's too French for the very English professor.
Oh, come on, he could say touche. What is he, a snotty snot? Man, oh, well, that place did not go anywhere. So you want a drink, or I'm the butler, so maybe I can help you. Just gonna poke around, get money out of the walls.
No, just stand there while I investigate stuff. Thank you, Matthew.
Now, I feel it's probably a slightly prudent time to bring up the music, which you're probably just hearing playing loosely in the background, and you'll probably notice that there's a lot of accordions going on, and it's got a very, very unique sound, which has since been rather sillily replicated in a variety of different games. I mean, the violin stuff, if you think about Professor... what's his name in X and Y?
Oh, Sycamore.
Sycamore, that's the one, his theme. And, I mean, I think even Zinnia's theme in Auras? I think that sounded very Layton-esque.
Also, Rhythm Thief.
Well, Rhythm Thief is essentially trying to home in on the Layton audience with rhythm game gameplay and doesn't quite pull it off as successfully.
It's a really shallow imitation. Like, I didn't really feel anything by the time I completed the game. I was just happy for it to be over and the story wasn't all that great.
I mean, I really did enjoy it, but I don't know whether that's just because I do prefer rhythm games and I was fully up for a hugely campy and cheesy plotline.
And then there was that Professor Lautrec game, which just aped Layton so much, and it was like this weird dungeon crawler kind of thing. That's what I heard about. I don't know, but the art style was like damn near exact to Layton. So like everybody's like, yeah, oh no, we know what you're doing.
I do like that game did get treated so badly because it was such a rip-off of Layton, because if you think about it, Layton is a very unique series. I mean, particularly when it came out, because I don't seem to recall there being anything quite like this. The closest you can think of is the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series, which it is based on in a way and provided the inspiration for the series.
Well, I think I told you this, Helldragon, in our Pokemon X playthrough, that Layton is kind of like an idealized version of Phoenix. You know, he solves puzzles, he does all this good shit, but he doesn't really have so much of a flaw as he kind of does everything in a gentlemanly manner.
That's true, and he doesn't stumble through things nearly as bad as Phoenix does.
Yeah, can you imagine if there were no Fae women available? Phoenix would be pretty fucked.
Yeah, although in most of his games he usually gets that way anyway.
Yeah, Layton don't need anybody else to solve his puzzles and his mysteries. He just kind of brings people along for the ride and then is just like right at the end, yes, I knew everything that was going on here.
It's so hot inside.
Oh?
Ah, fresh meat.
Oh, you must be Professor Layton, I presume.
Correct as usual, King Friday. I mean...
Oh, an English accent, I presume.
It's really odd, because you have some characters, I mean, like Layton, who's voiced by Christopher Robin Miller, an American actor, who can do an English accent perfectly fine. But then you have other people who just fail miserably. I mean, the thing is that, this bringing it back to Luke, Lani Minella can do an English accent, and she does quite a few of the voices throughout the series. I mean, she's the voice of Emmy in the prequel trilogy, and a very important character in Lost Future. And when she does them, she's perfectly fine.
I wondered if Emmy's voice was different in the UK version of Miracle Mask.
Well, I mean, it's the same voice it's the same voice as the American version is Emmy's.
Oh, okay, well, that shut me up.
The reason that there's the confusion is because when Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva came out, that was done by a UK dubbing company, I think, which is why, and it was at the point where they hadn't gotten a voice for Emmy or Descalay at that point, because Spectre's Call hadn't come out yet. So they were in charge of that, and that's why you get a different voice. But once the games got their dubbing treatment, it was Lani Minella in the role of Emmy, and she's perfectly fine there. It's just her look is awful.
Ah, whatever. I can hear that bullshit. Alright, THD, brace yourself, we're going into another puzzle.
Man, Simon, I am fixing to fucking come over there, and you know what? No, I should be like Layton. I should be like a gentleman. I should think of a cool little repartee to say instead to make Simon shut his fucking smug face. Oh god, no, I ain't doing this puzzle. Fuck you. I would need paper for this shit.
Yes, this is definitely maths. The last puzzle was also maths. I really like the last puzzle because it's basically just algebra. And if you know how to do that, then it's a really fun puzzle. This is surprisingly simple once you know what you're doing, but yeah.
Mate, I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. You think I can do long division and shit?
Another puzzle solved.
300 on the nosy. Beautiful.
So Pickarats are basically like points, you know, in this series. You can't really like buy anything with them. Although it'd be funny if you could buy like alternate costumes for Layton with your Pickarats.
Layton with top hat, Layton with another top hat, Layton with flat cap.
None of them where he doesn't have a hat on because you're not allowed to see underneath.
No, play Lost Future.
Ah, okay. The dreaded secret of Layton's bare head revealed.
But I mean, you say that you can't buy anything with the Pickarats. That's not necessarily 100% true, if only because your total Pickarats unlock stuff in the, I think it's top secret extra bonuses bit of the game. So the more Pickarats you get, the more things you get there. So you can get a theatre mode, so you can watch all of the animated cutscenes again if you want. You can get sound clips, you can get concept art, and other stuff, which is really nice, but you've got to get the Pickarats to be able to unlock it.
I remember I was struggling a little bit, like you were trying to dictate the correct answer to me, and I was like, oh god, how do I do this? How do I do this?
There are a number of puzzles like this, and it's just like, right, just move it so that it makes 3 boxes. It's just like, I don't know how else to describe this thing. It's like, move it left, that'll probably be okay, I don't know.
Don't know what to tell you, Richie, but I don't know what a box is.
Well, this has been something interesting to listen in onto the plights of Tom as he attempts to manipulate matchsticks. I hate to see him in a situation where he has to light an actual fire with them.
Okay, somehow the boxes went from being blue to green.
Puzzle magic.
Okay. See, the thing about the hint puzzles is, because you're not required to beat them to progress with the story and such, you know, they're kind of like traps in a way. They can be as hard as they like. They can charge as many Pickarats as they want.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are dastardly.
Oh, yeah.
It's wrong, my fingers don't taste nearly as good as they did this morning.
Ugh, this is not the finger thing, but the fact that her cat ran off is kind of hitting close to home. At the time when we're recording this, my cat Phoenix has been across the way. Like I don't know where he is, but he's on the street, but he's not near us, and I miss him a lot.
Mm.
Well, let's hope he comes back soon.
Hopefully.
Wow, you didn't even pepper that one for joke.
What? You lost? Like, your cat's not there. I mean, I've got sympathy for that, definitely.
Especially when Layton is watching. Always watching.
Quit judging me! Look, I've tried to be nice, alright? Now where's my money?
I have to say, like, Layton, when you look at him head on, reminds me a little bit of Mr. Ben. Do you remember that guy, Richie? The guy who would often go into stores, change costumes a lot, and go on magical adventures?
Only just. It is there in my memory, but it's not one of the things that was hugely a part of my childhood. I think it was ever so slightly just before my time.
How old are you, Richard?
21, so it's like about 4 years, but that's still enough to be a big thing, because I think Mr. Ben was only there for a short while.
Anyway, Lady Dahlia is a shithead, and I don't like her. You'll find that's true with a lot of people in this game.
I agree with you, dear boy. You're spared the fiery brimstone and the pitchforks for now. Yes, this is the basis for the second chapter of the game. We are going to spend basically an hour hunting down Miss Dahlia's cat.
Awesome.
Thank you, Richie. So much encouragement and love in this commentary group of ours. We'll see you next time for another Layton part.